Hi peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. It's Monday and you know what that means. It's time to go fishing the a-holes. That is right, it is that weekly segment where we take a look at the subreddit, am I the a-hole? Why? Because it's a little bit of juicy drama, it's a little bit of fun. We can hopefully help some people out, whether it be OP or other people in similar situations. We can also help ourselves grow along the way. Like, what's not to love? Seriously. I swear, this is the best part of my Mondays. I so love doing this. But before we dive right in, I just want to let you know that my first debut single, I Don't Like Me Either. I don't know why I said it like that. I Don't Like Me Either is out right now for you to listen to. It would mean a great deal. A whole lot if you would pop onto whatever device it is that you listen to music on. Apple, Spotify, Deezer, YouTube Music, you name it, you go there and you take a look at my song and you let me know what you think. You can comment it downstairs right here if you'd like to. I'm so nervous. I'm filming this before the song is out and like I'm already pooping myself. I cannot imagine how I'm going to be feeling on the day that this video goes live and you're actually seeing this, but know that I'm probably crapping myself right now, shaking and screaming and having all that very awkward bisexual energy. So yeah, if you'd like to listen to my song, down in the description, yeah. Shall we dive deep into some assholes? Let's go. Am I the asshole for not getting rid of my cats? No, don't get rid of the cats. I read that out and then it just registered. I was just thinking about my song, so I was like, no, cats are way more important. I'm a 30-year-old woman and I'm currently pregnant, and I've recently told my friend Josie, who's a 28-year-old woman. My partner and I have been together for 10 years and we have 4 cats together, all rescues. Goals! We have 2 cats at the moment. I went to Morocco a couple of months ago and I was so sad because the cats there are not treated very well. Like when I was exploring Greece, there was a lot of cats, there was a lot of stray cats, but they were so well looked after. Almost every street that you turned on had food, had water. I went into a shop and I was talking to the shop owner about the specific cat that was like just chilling in this vegetable basket. And he was like, yeah, you know, like they're all strays, but these 2 in particular are like my babies. Like they look after them so well. But in Morocco, I didn't see that. In fact, I saw the opposite. Like cats were being kicked off of the street. There's so many people, it made me so sad. And there's this one kitten and I was just like, I'm going to take you home. I'm going to name you Tajine and you will be mine. But Jamie was not happy with the idea. One, because how on earth would I take a cat back from Morocco? I'm pretty sure there'd be so many issues with the hotel room, let alone my plane. But secondly, because we already have 2 cats and they're such a handful. And I get what he's saying, but also like, just give me all the cats. I just want all the cats. This is a massive digression. Let's read on. 4 cats, rescues. Upon finding out about my pregnancy, my friend asked me what we were going to do with the cats. I asked her what she meant by that. She gave me the whole thing about pregnant ladies not being able to change litter boxes, blah 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 blah, and that I should give my cats away to protect the baby. I told her that this was not happening. If I were to get toxoplasmosis, I probably have it by now. I grew up with cats, my family had cats before I was born and after. I've always had cats, and besides, gloves exist, I'm washing hands, and my partner can change the litter box anyway. I tried to explain this to her politely. She was shocked and couldn't believe how I could be so flippant about my child's health, and said that I would be a mother for putting cats above my child. Oh yes, because it is such a well-known fact that the only people that have cats are people who do not have babies. No families have cats ever. When you have a cat and then you fall pregnant, the cat goes out on the street. It's law. It's just what happens. I told her that she has no idea what she's talking about, and I'd be a horrible mother if I taught my child that animals are disposable. Exactly, they're not. They're part of the family. She scoffed and she called me an asshole. She then started telling everyone at work, we work together, and the ladies all agreed with her and believed that I should be getting rid of my cats. Am I really the asshole here? No, my love, you're not the asshole. Nothing can be more clear to me. No conviction can be stronger. You are not the asshole in this scenario. Did she not stop to think, how do people therefore exist who have grown up with cats? Like, how do people know about cats to have cats? Like, why are you born? Why are you alive? Why do you exist? You clearly grew up with cats. You shouldn't have done so, because clearly it would be such terrible parenting for your parents to have had you and a cat. So you must spontaneously combust right now, because there's clearly no way in which both a cat and a child could coexist and both can live very happy lives. Okay, serious hat on. It is true that when you are pregnant, you really shouldn't handle cat litter trays or cat litter of any kind, because it's not safe. It can lead to you losing the baby. It can lead to certain defects. I think it's quite common for it to lead into premature birth. So it is something to be taken seriously and to be aware of. But having said that, it doesn't mean that you need to therefore shun an entire family member from your household. It just means, like with many other ways of baby proofing, you need to consider how cats and cat care fit around your parenting and pregnancy schedules. I had a chat with my vets not too long ago when we were talking about family planning. We brought up the concept of babies and she didn't say to me, oh no, you must get rid of the cat. Surely if it was this bad, medical veterinary professionals would be telling us this and we would all be very, very well aware of the fact. Instead, what she did tell me, which was also interesting, is that cats can actually lead to quite a high number of baby damage or worse. Touch wood, this doesn't happen, because cats are so curious and they just bloody sit everywhere, and sometimes they sit on babies, which can lead to them having restricted airway passages, which is of course not a good thing. And so my vet was basically saying, hey, if your cat sleeps in your room with you, which Apollo did, and now Apollo and Prawn do, because it's this whole story, but we basically need to wean them off of that quite a while before baby is born so that they can get used to not being in the bedroom where the cot's gonna be, to avoid things like that happening. But she certainly didn't say you must get rid of your kitties. That just wouldn't be fair. I also think it's really rude of your friend to not only really put that opinion, and even after you say it's okay, for them to continue being like, no, I am right and you are wrong and it doesn't matter about your actual life experience, you must listen to me. It's the fact that they've gone on to shout about it so much, and also gone and turned the rest of your, was it office? Everyone at work, the rest of your office about it, to be like, shun the new mama. What is wrong with some people? Not the asshole. You're absolutely right. Pets are family and you don't just get rid of them because you're adding a baby to the household. Also, can I just say props to you and brownie badge, because not only were you like, oh, I'm trying to be a good parent and also not let go of this other meaningful, important family member, you were also thinking about, wow, what is this example that I'm going to set for my child? Like, you're going to be a good mama. You're going to be a good mama, babe. You don't worry about it. There was at least one cat in my household from day one coming home from the hospital as a baby, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Growing up with cats, 1, taught me how to respect animals, and 2, fostered a love of animals from a young age. Someone else said, we kept both of our cats when I got pregnant. My husband was the one to clean the litter box, even though they were both indoor cats. See, precautions can be taken, and that's totally fine. Not to the arsehole, toxoplasmosis is very serious, but the risk can be totally mitigated as long as you're hygienic and baby-proof so that your kid never gets into the litter boxes. Thousands, at least, of women have pregnancies while sharing a home with cats. Baby dad can clean the boxes during your pregnancy, and going forward, make sure that everyone washes their hands after doing so. Just going to correct a little bit of gendered language there. Non-pregnant person of any gender can clean the litter boxes. Everyone can wash their hands. The kitties can stay. The baby's cute. The cats are cute. The family Christmas photos are adorable. And we live happily ever after. Someone else also says that if cats are strictly indoor cats, then it does reduce the risk. And another commenter said that actually OP can also have her cats tested easily. Good to know. I wasn't aware of that. We love a forum that helps each other out with practical tips. I felt like that was a pretty easy verdict. We were very mango and lime. Shall we move on to another? Am I the asshole for wanting quality family time with my wife and baby? I'm a 32-year-old man and I've been married to my wife, Sarah, a 28-year-old woman, for 3 years. Sarah has a close friend, Dan, who's a 29-year-old man, 1 month older than Sarah, 2 years younger than you, who she's known since college. Dan has always been a part of Sarah's life and I've never had any issues with their friendship. However, things changed recently when Sarah and I had a baby. I expected our lives to undergo some changes, but what I didn't anticipate was Dan's continuous presence. In the past few months, Dan has been coming over to our house almost every weekend. He's there for hours, playing with our baby, offering parenting advice, and essentially becoming a regular fixture in our home. I initially didn't mind the support, but it started to feel overwhelming. I wanted quality time with my wife and our child without having a third person around constantly. I totally feel this. I did an Am I the Arsehole not too long ago, and I was quite surprised by the comments underneath the video about one specific case. OP was in a fair amount of debt. Sister agreed to take OP in for a little while to live with them. It was a wife and a husband and 2 kids, 2 nieces to OP. And OP loved living there, helping out a lot, but said that they had no intentions of moving. And the husband in that situation was like, this is frustrating me because I feel like my family and relationship is all being very disrupted with your presence. You need to go at some point, you know? And OP was like, but I'm perfectly happy here. Why do I need to move? I said that OP was a soft arsehole in this situation and didn't have to move immediately, but it would also be bugging me if somebody who I'd let into my house for 6 months, right? And that's a lot of time to get on your feet. You don't need to pay back the whole loan. You just need to be able to be in a position where you can start planning a way forward with life so that you can encapsulate the paying off of this loan on a monthly basis whilst also having a place of your own and not impeding on someone else's family portrait. A lot of people seem to have read it in a different way, but I read that and this situation in the same way. Dan here is part of a different family portrait. There is a cute little family portrait here with OP, with Sarah, and with their baby. And they need time for themselves. Especially if parenting is very new, seems to be the first baby, that's a big deal. You need time to bond with your little squish, and you need time to bond with each other. Because parenthood changes the dynamics in so many ways of your relationship. I don't think it's wrong to assume that you'll both be working in the week, and every single weekend to have people over, that's a lot. We need to respect the family portrait, and we can sometimes visit. We can be little, you know, guest features in someone else's family portraits, but we can't be new permanent fixtures if we're not invited and, you know, approved in that way by everybody else in that family picture. I initially didn't mind the support, but it started to feel overwhelming. I wanted quality time with my wife and our child without having a third person around constantly, and when I talked to Sarah about it, she defended Dan's presence, saying that he was just trying to be a good friend and help us with the baby. I want to know more about Dan. My first thought, this might be wrong, but I'm like, I need to know his sexuality. Is he straight? I also need to know his background with Sarah. You say they've been friends since college? Were they only friends? Did they date at all? Like, is there a chance that perhaps, you know, there's an affair type thing going on? My third question about Dan is like, what does his family portrait look like? Does he have many family or friends? Does he have kids of his own? Does he have other people that he can speak with? Or is he like that uncle figure who's like, no, I love you and so I love your child and I'm gonna be the best uncle that I can possibly be, which, you know, could be really cute, but also like, Dan, you still need to respect boundaries. Last week, things came to a head when Dan showed up unannounced on a Sunday morning whilst we were having family time. I tried to be patient, but I ended up losing my cool and I told Dan that I wanted some privacy with my wife and child. Sarah got angry with me, accusing me of being ungrateful for Dan's help. It turned into a big argument and I felt like I was losing my own home. Eventually, Sarah and Dan went out, and I was left alone feeling like the bad guy. Oh, this is such a shame. Did you have a conversation with Dan beforehand? Like, you say you lost your cool. Again, communication is so key. I wonder if you did just say, hey Dan, I super appreciate your help with the baby. I super appreciate you coming around and keeping us company, but I also just want to let you know that we're super tired and sometimes we just like being alone. Do you reckon we can be a bit more considerate of each other's calendars, plan things in advance, and also accommodate some time for us to be alone as a family and some time for you to come out and chill out with baby and your bestie too? I do want to look for some more information, but right now I'm thinking, no, OP, you are not the asshole. Let's see if we can find some more info though. Ooh, someone said not the asshole, but I agree with the rest of the forum because the forum seems to be saying you need to get a DNA test. Forum seems to think that maybe this is Dan's bubba. Dan is out here acting like he's the baby daddy and Sarah's reaction isn't helping the situation. Sounds like she'd rather have him there than spend time with you, which is super sus, especially after just having a baby. That's another point. Like, I wonder, even if you haven't spoken to Dan specifically, because Dan is Sarah's friend, have you spoken to Sarah? Have you said, hey, I'm feeling a little bit left out of my own family picture here. I would like to have time with just you and our baby. Can we have some cute little family dates, just the three of us? Like, maybe Sarah's just really grateful for the support and maybe OP isn't like pulling his weight. Like, maybe Sarah's just like, well, it's easier because Dan's just very intuitively helping out and doing these things, whereas OP isn't, and I don't want to feel like I'm forcing Dad to do things when clearly we're both tired because we're new parents. You know, again, communication is key. It could just be a misunderstanding. But OP actually responded and said, I get what you're saying and it's definitely a unique situation. We'll have that conversation to clear things up with her. I'll keep the DNA test in the back of my mind as an option if needed. Thanks for your thoughts, really appreciate it. Okay, that's the only way that I can see that OP has really responded, so we don't have answers to our questions. I'm gonna stick with my not the asshole badge. Not the asshole. Family time is family time. You need to bond with the child and the child needs to bond with you. This is very true. These are very formulative moments for this child. And if Dan is in the picture just as much as you, like, I just see those scenes in the movies, you know, where they're like, dada, to the wrong person. That's not gonna go down very well. Are you sure it isn't his baby? Not the asshole, by the way. If my significant other had a friend, man or woman, who came to our house every weekend after I had a baby, I would have kicked the friend out myself and my significant other as well if you didn't establish boundaries. You're not the asshole, and frankly, you've been a lot more patient and accepting than your wife has any right to ask of you. Again, it might be that the wife doesn't know, isn't aware, and is just very grateful for the extra pair of hands and the help. And I also appreciate this take because it is a good check, you know, if Dan wasn't a man, if your wife isn't straight, Dan isn't a man, and they didn't have any previous relationship history, if this was just a good bestie who happened to be a woman, if your wife is straight, would you feel the same way? And if the answer to that is yes, then absolutely, this is about quality time and you absolutely deserve to be having quality time with your nuclear family. Not the asshole is baby maybe Dan's baby. Try saying that 3 times really fast. Is baby maybe Dan's baby? Is baby maybe Dan's baby? There's so much of this on this forum. The forum has made that decision. You mentioned he gives advice. Is he even a parent? How often is he over? Is it just the weekends? Is there any chance that your wife is suffering from postpartum and Dan's become the one that she's relying on for help? All great points, all great questions. Ooh, OP responded to that and said, thanks for your input and you're spot on. Dan not being a parent does add an interesting twist to the situation. Well, there we go. OP sounds to be really reflective as well, because he's got an edit here and said, since then I've been reflecting on the situation and I wonder if there's a way to find a compromise that respects everybody's needs and boundaries. Your advice and perspectives are greatly appreciated. I wish you well, OP. I definitely don't think you're the asshole. And also, congratulations on your little squish. Alright, let's go fishing once more. Am I the asshole for getting upset about my fiance's workout partner partner being my sister. Ooh, sounds juicy. A scandalo. I'm a 24-year-old woman, and I think this is weird, but both my sister, a 26-year-old woman, and my fiance, a 27-year-old man, are saying it's not, and I want a third party. And so you reached out to thousands of strangers on the internet. I love it. Let's go. Basically, my fiance works out every weekday after work from 6:30 to 7:30-ish, and I always knew that he had a workout partner. I just assumed it was one of his friends. Also, this isn't a recent thing. This has been going on for a while. Then, on Friday, we were just chatting while I started on dinner and he got ready to go, and I mentioned that I had a book I wanted my sister to read because I know she likes reading. My fiance was like, give it to me, I'll give it to her. I was obviously like, what? And he got kind of uncomfortable. Like, he started saying that he should probably go and all, but I asked him why he said that, and he said that it wasn't a big deal, but my sister is his workout partner. I said I thought that that was weird, especially since he never told me about this. Why the secrecy? My head's like, babe, they're cheating on you. It's not normally a conclusion that I come to on this forum, but some of these posts are really heading that way. He said they just happened to go to the same gym and it became a thing, and he said that I'm overreacting. I think this is one of the situations where you're not upset about the thing, you're upset about why you didn't know about the thing. Like, why did you need to hide it? Why did you and sister need to hide it? You're sharing books, so clearly OP is like in a good place with sister. Clearly you communicate. Why are the two important loved ones in your life feeling like they need to hide the fact that they hang out together? If it was totally innocent, there wouldn't be a need to hide. And so that suggests to me that something is happening that warrants hiding, which makes me feel bad for OP. Am I? I don't think I am, asks OP. It's weird. I mean, if I was working out with his brother, he would think that it was weird. Wait, no, I do disagree with that. Are you upset about the fact, or are you upset about the fact that you didn't know the fact? Do you know what I mean? Because those are two different things. I don't think it's weird that if they happen to go to the same gym that they then work out together and spot each other. Accountability buddies are a wonderful thing, and if you were working out with his brother because you both went to the gym at the same time and the same gym, like, it's fine. But I would find it weird if I didn't know about it and then I found out by chance after it's been happening for a while. OP says, I don't want to be like an annoying jealous girlfriend, but it rubs me the wrong way. I can see why my sister never told me since I don't see her much, and she literally never tells anyone anything. But my fiance? I live with him. Am I the asshole? No, I also don't see why your sister wouldn't have told you, because as I said, if you're given books and stuff, clearly you have some kind of connection. And when you say she literally never tells you anything, exactly, like, he's your fiance. Surely that would come up in conversation. Every weekday, I see your fiance because we work out together. How would that not be a topic of conversation? Okay, here's my verdict. I'm gonna have to give out 2 badges, and it depends on the situation. I need some more information because you are not the asshole if what you're frustrated about is the fact that you didn't know. Like, why was it kept from you? I get that frustration. I would see why you are not the asshole. I do think that you would be the asshole. No, I would think that everybody sucks here if what you are actually frustrated about is the fact that they just happen to work out together, because there's nothing inherently sexual or cheaty or wrong or immoral at all about having a workout buddy. Like, I would just be pleased that my partner and my sibling were bonding and getting on, you know? So if that's what you're annoyed about, I do think that's a little bit arsehole-y to get annoyed about, because you don't have any right to get annoyed over that. And if you were annoyed about that, that's probably something that fiance would know that you would get annoyed over, and possibly sister too, which is why they might not have told you. But at the same time, I do think that's quite deceitful. It's a lie through omission. You should be told. You should know. Hence the everybody sucks here. So let's take a look at the responses. Did OP respond? Not the arsehole. The fact that neither your sister or fiance thought to mention to you that they were workout partners is a red flag here, so I see how you got upset. There is something that feels sneaky about the both of them not being open with you on this. OP responds and says, to be fair to my sister, she's always been private her whole life. Like, she doesn't even tell us when she got into law school. She said she forgot. We, being my parents and I, only found out because my fiance, who was my boyfriend at the time, is a law student too and happened to mention it offhandedly. That's very weird. Wait, as in like they were at school together and you only found out, just like the gym situation, your fiance was out with the sister? This is odd. And also, I don't buy this. With all due respect, it's irrelevant if she's quite private about her life, because her doing this with your fiance is now getting into the realm of your collective lives, right? Like, it's family life. The only way that I consider this, you know, like being fine is if the sister was under the impression that the fiance would have said something. Like, if I had a sister that I didn't live with and I met up with occasionally, I wouldn't be saying, oh, by the way, just checking that you know that I go to the gym with your fiance every weekday. Like, that's not something that I would say, because I would automatically assume that the fiance, when coming back, would be like, oh, hey, guess who I ran into the gym? Your sister. We worked out together. I definitely expect that to be a conversation coming from the person that lives with me that, you know, would be coming back and telling me that. But at the same time, I would just expect it to have come up in conversation, just generally, even with catch-ups with sister. Still doesn't tell us, though, if OP is mad about not knowing, which is what this comment suggested, right? The fact that neither of them mentioned to you is a red flag here, or if it's the fact that they're just working out together that OP doesn't like. Not the asshole. I don't think them working out together is necessarily weird, but like, why did they not tell you? And someone else said because they're doing more than working out. Well, what do you think, Peaches? Do you agree with my sliding doors verdict? Are there workouts in the gym and perfectly reasonable, or are they X-rated and unspeakable? Let me know your thoughts. Whilst you do, I think we have time for one more. Let's go. Am I the asshole for refusing to help cook for Thanksgiving? Every year, my husband's mum does a huge Thanksgiving meal. Oh, the idea of a good family meal sounds so good right now. Like roast potatoes and cauliflower cheese. Oh, I don't actually know what's in a Thanksgiving meal specifically. That's pumpkins, right? Turkey and pumpkins. I've suddenly become very curious. It suddenly piqued my interest and my bucket list has spurted an extra item, and that is to eat a Thanksgiving meal. All of her kids and spouses are expected, like an unwritten rule, to go to the morning of and help her cook everything. So like a tradition, right? Like every year on Thanksgiving, all the family comes round, they're like, peeling carrots. You have carrots at a Thanksgiving meal? May I peel my carrot at your Thanksgiving? I'm in the mood for a low-key Thanksgiving this year. Work has been insanely stressful. This will be my only extra day off in months, and I don't want to haul out the house at 9 a.m. to go help cook when someone else is hosting and never get a thank you. Okay, well, I mean, regardless of the situation, you should definitely be thanking people for coming over and helping. Having said that, if you're hosting and cooking, like, it's kind of like a collective thank you, you know? No, thinking about that a bit more, maybe you don't deserve a thank you. Not to be rude, but like, if you're all doing it together and you're not buying any of the food, but mum is, you know, it's just kind of like, I think about the times that I go over, mum doesn't go, oh, thank you so much for your individual contribution for helping at Thanksgiving this year. Normally, it's even if I'm going over to someone's house and I'm helping out, like, I'm saying thank you, like, thank you for hosting, thank you for buying all of this stuff and being responsible and providing the current roof that is over our party head. I told my husband that he can go early this year and I will show up with all the regular guests. Ooh, so it's not just a family thing, there are guests that are invited afterwards. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this. I told him that it's his family's idea of a good time, not mine, and he thinks this will be embarrassing and awkward, and it led to a huge fight about my wider issues with his family dynamics. Okay, so all of a sudden this isn't about Thanksgiving. This isn't about peeling a carrot. Schrodinger's carrot, 'cause we still don't know. We don't know if it belongs in a Thanksgiving dinner. It's about the fact that you're not liking the family, babe. He says that if we want a low-key Thanksgiving, that we just shouldn't go. And I agree. I think I agree with this. My point is, if someone invites you to a party, they don't mandate you to show up 6 hours early to prep. Mother-in-law is choosing to host and chose to invite us. Yes, I enjoy the party, but it's also a day off. Am I the asshole? Oh no. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about the badges in turn. You are the asshole, but as soft you are the asshole. Why can I see this working? Honestly, it's because it reminds me of that child story. You know where the little chicken is like, oh, I really fancy some bread. She like goes and picks the wheat and she's like, Mr. Cow, will you help me pick the wheat to make the bread? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. So she picks the wheat by herself and then she goes to Mr. Piggy and she's like, Mr. Piggy, will you help me mill the wheat to make the bread? And Mr. Piggy's like, no. So she mills it by herself. And then she goes to McDuck and she's like, hey Duck, will you help me down the wheat into the bread because that's apparently the rest of the process? And McDuck is like, no. And so she makes the bread all by herself, and then when the bread is all like out and smelling great, then Duck and Pig and Cow are like, oh, I want to eat some bread. And she's like, no, 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 no. You didn't help me do the floury bit or the other floury bit or the rest of the bread making bit, so you do not get bread. I made the bread, I eat food. And honestly, that's what this gives me. You and the family, it is a tradition that you make the food together, and it kind of feels like you're trying to reap the benefits of the meal without the family experience, which is supposed to be fun and a bonding experience, right? It's not just a chore, it's a bonding moment. That's why I'm saying you're the asshole a little bit. There are other guests, but other guests who are not the main immediate family, you know, the other people who are like you, the other siblings and their partners. That's a special moment. So you come together, you do the food, you do the things. This is what happens in my family situations. All of us siblings will come together to prep for the party. And then of course we enjoy the party afterwards. You invite other guests to come join once it's prepped, but all of the siblings come for the prep. Then we move to the not the asshole badge, which I also kind of get, only because you're not feeling very well. I do think that if someone is feeling some kind of way, overwhelmed, exhausted, you should be having that conversation with mother-in-law or even with husband, and then you both can have that conversation with mum to be like, hey, I'm really feeling super crap. I don't feel up for a whole day of cooking and socializing, and because I'm not feeling too great, I'd really appreciate staying home. I would love it if you wouldn't mind me popping by for a little bit in the evening. I'd love to join you at that point, but I just can't do a whole day thing. Mum-in-law should then be kind enough to be like, I see you, I get it. We are all not perfectly on form all the time. You're tired. You rest, babe. We'll give you food later. And that won't be a big issue. The only thing that I would say in that situation is if that were me and I was planning on going just to enjoy the parties, like I knew that I was perfectly capable. I was just tired. I was like, ugh, I don't want to cook the food. I just want to eat the food. I would feel a little bit, like just personally, a little bit uncomfortable to just go to the party and eat the food and not make the food. That is just me though. I am one of those people that's like, must help, must insert myself like a control freak in every situation. And it's not always the healthiest way to be. And the other thing that makes me feel a little bit uneasy about this badge is it's clearly not just about Thanksgiving. Do you know what I mean? Clearly it's about the family dynamics. You've been talking about it being the family dynamics. There's a line here as well, that it's his family's idea of a good time, not mine, which makes me feel like this is not just going to happen this Thanksgiving. If you don't go this Thanksgiving to prep the food, you're not going to go any Thanksgiving to prep the food, because you're going to see this as some kind of set precedent. And I think if that's what you're doing, like, you are perfectly entitled to not go, but you need to be honest with your partner so that your partner can set that context for the rest of the Thanksgiving tradition, that you're not going to be there. Which again, totally within your right. Obviously, it could then cause other consequences in the dynamics of the family, but it is totally your right. But it's that extra level, right, about it being family dynamics that makes me feel like maybe the not the arsehole badge doesn't quite work here. Then I see the everybody sucks here, but also the same with no arseholes here. There's just badges everywhere. It's sad if you feel like you have to do something that you don't want to do. Maybe that's a bad part on the mum. It's sad that your husband is feeling like he needs to force you in some way, but he's also saying we could just not go, you know? And then I do think that that would also make you a bit arseholey, because like you're not wanting to have that conversation about what is the actual reason you're not wanting to go, which is more than just Thanksgiving prep. Is it because you're tired, or is it because you don't like the family? Because it sounds like Opie's not fully committing to one, and it is true, maybe both can be true, but it doesn't feel like you're saying that's why it is. It sounds like you're trying to excuse it for the tiredness, when really it's about the family dynamics. But then maybe there are no assholes here because, you know, like, mum's entitled to want the tradition to continue, a husband's entitled to not want to disappoint his mum, and you're also entitled to not go, or to go just eat the food. Ooh, we don't do this, but I think I'm going to take a look at the forum before I make my decision. Is that cheating? I still have all 4 badges going around my head. It's my video! I'm going to take a look at the forum. Info. Have you gone to help on previous Thanksgivings? Does mother-in-law know how busy your job's been lately? I just tell mother-in-law that you don't have the energy this year. Offer to buy a nice dish or dessert, or prep something in advance that you can bring in exchange. Maybe come 1 or 2 hours earlier to help set the table and get everything ready for guests. I love all of these suggestions. This is what I expected it could be. It doesn't have to be a whole day, you know? Opie said, yes, I've gone in all previous years since we got serious, basically. I didn't think of asking her directly. That's not a bad idea. It's absolutely a conversation that should happen. So is coming just an hour or so before, so I'm still helping out somewhat. Thanks. Yay! Yay! I love that there are solutions. Creative solutions that Opie would have thought about that sounds like they go down really well. But definitely, you know, have that conversation. There's no badge on that one, though, interestingly. You are the asshole. Your husband is right. You either go and help out or you don't go at all. If you think helping to make Thanksgiving for the whole family is too much hard work, imagine having to do it on your own. It's okay to be exhausted and to need a break, but it's not okay to turn up to someone else's house and expect to be fed when the expectation is that everybody chips in. I see this. However, would you expect someone to chip in if they were feeling really unwell? If they had a cold? If they had a stomach bug? No, there are always exceptions to the rules. You know, we don't expect people to exert themselves more. That's not a loving thing to do. If Opie is genuinely tired, I get it. And I think it'd be very reasonable of the mum to be like, oh, no worries, come later. As long as it's not an every year thing. That's when it becomes different. Okay, I think I'm understanding it in my mind. About my justifications of where I think the morals of the situation lie. Agrees to someone else. This isn't a party, but a holiday tradition. Husband's giving you an out. It sounds reasonable, as in to not go to the whole thing. You are the asshole. Everyone is helping out. You don't get to be the princess who rocks up just to eat the food. Everyone else worked the whole day to prepare. Most of the forum seems to be saying you're the asshole, to be fair. I'm going to be optimistic here. I'm going to assume that Opie is genuinely really tired and it's not really about the family dynamics and that Opie would not do this every year. And so I would say there are no assholes here. I get why the husband is feeling a little bit awkward about having that conversation. I get why the mum will be disappointed, but ultimately understanding. I definitely think that Opie should be having that conversation directly, calling mother-in-law and being like, hey, I'm really not feeling fantastic. I'm super tired. I'm super stressed out at work. Do you mind if I pop by a little bit later? A mother-in-law will say yes, because that's what reasonable humans being do, and Shaaba's mind is being really optimistic, and everything is fine, and there are no assholes here. However, if the details of the conversation alluded to the fact that Opie never wanted to do it again, or if that actually happens when next Thanksgiving the same thing happens again, that's where I do think it falls into the realm of Opie being a little asshole. Because I know it sucks. I know it sucks to feel like you have to do something that you don't want to do, but if it's a tradition and it helps your partner out and your partner wants to do it, being in a relationship means compromise. And I feel like this is one of those important things, because all of the rest of the family are there, where you do just need to generally compromise. Not when you're feeling unwell, but if you're feeling totally fine and you're just like, ugh, I don't like the family. I don't want to cook with them. You either don't go to any of it, or you go to it and you help cook. You don't just go for the bit that's fun with the eating and not the other bit, which is the preparing. That is my verdict. Oh, okay, I feel like that one was a bit controversial. Like, that was harder, that was spicier. What do you think, lovely peaches? Pop your little fuzzy butts downstairs in the comment section. Let's have a chat. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please go listen to my song, I Don't Like Me Either, my first single that is out everywhere right now, I'm pretty sure. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more. Super duper helps me out more than you probably realize. I'll catch you next time on another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.